Hey Carrie, how are you? I haven't seen you forever. I popped on because I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but it still hasn't processed my last live. So I've been going through, making sure I have everything checked properly. So, um, but I did figure that we would talk a little bit. Remember the little boy from Oklahoma that ran away from home? And then his mother and stepfather were facing charges. The stepfather unalived himself. Hey, Tropicana. Tropicana. And no, I usually don't come on this late. I usually am already in bed, but I just had some blueberries and a couple strawberries, and I took a Mucinex, so I'm having to drink a bunch of water. So I figured, why not come on and hang out with y'all? You know what I mean? Please feel free to talk about whatever you want in chat. I do not mind one little bit tonight. We are just going with the flow. So if y'all have anything you want to talk about, please let me know. We will figure out how to have a conversation about it. So today I did a live on was talking about showing Allie, Candace's best buddy who wasn't friends with her anymore. Um, her neighbors, they were arguing. It was kind of crazy. It was kind of cray cray if you ask me. But you know, I just don't understand people not realizing that there's a lot of people who are not telling the truth when it comes to the Summer Wells case. It's like, I mean, they show it and they don't even care. They do not. You did. You had just had blueberries and raspberries. That is so cool. Yeah, I try. I've been trying really hard to eat healthy and you know do my little thingy thing. So we knew that the little boy ran away. He was gone for a number of days. He was actually found, I think they said, in an area behind their house. I'm not sure what he was staying in. He actually thought he was in trouble when the Cajun Navy did find him. And this young boy had been through so much from his home. It was nuts. But the stepdad's name was George Cole Jr., and he was facing multiple child abuse charges and neglect charges over his stepson, who had been gone for over a week. Now, he went to court. He got back from court. He decided that he was going to place a round circled, I don't know if it was a sheet. I'm not sure exactly what it was. Uh, but he did attempt to end his own life, and they did take him off life support because they had him on life support. And, uh, he actually was facing 14 charges, including child abuse, child sexual abuse, and neglect. His bond was set at 2.5 million. Now, the sad thing about that is because now mom has charges, so they're definitely going to be charging her. If I remember correctly, um, the abuse uh, had they used tasers on this young boy. there was another child in the home that was also severely neglected and abused. But yeah, shortly after he was charged, he went right back to the court. He went right back to jail, and that's what happened. Now, Kimberly Cole, the mother, she was charged with 11 counts, including 3 counts of child abuse, 2 counts of child sexual abuse, 3 counts of child neglect, 2 counts of crimes against nature, and conspiracy. Now, I've talked about this case before, and I thought, because I pulled up what crimes against nature were, Mom was doing nasty things with the dogs. With the dogs. I mean, who freaking, I mean, here, let me Google her. Kimberly Cole. Charges. Okay, let's pop over till. Okay, these are the charges that were filed. And the station that has been covering this case is KOKO, K-O-K-O. I think K-O-K-O, K-O-K-O or K-O-C-O. But yeah, she's facing 11 charges. Let's see if they get into. They were officially charged. The boy was 12 years old. He was reported missing on January 2nd. And you know what got me? Because they came on the news and they were like, we want him home. Oh, yeah, cattle prod, Tropicana. A freaking cattle prod. Can you believe that? Can you freaking believe that? So they did find him 9 days after he was reported missing. They found him safe. So, like I said, Kimberly Cole, the mother, faces 11 felony counts. I really, really hope that they get this. They get her. They need to.
This child was found safe, and he's going to be he's going to
Hopefully
have
you guys can hear that.
RJ is safe. He is sound. And we stand by our promise. He will not go back to that property.
Breaking news,
Wow.
Oklahoma. The search is over. Ryan R.J. Davis was found earlier today over in Caddo County near Cement. The little boy was missing for 8 full days. Now, OSBI just wrapped up a news conference telling us what they've learned about the situation. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chantel Navarro. Finding that 12-year-old RJ was on the minds of lots of Oklahomans this past week. Dozens of people volunteering their time and efforts to help them in the search themselves. And now people want answers on how he was found. KOCO's Olivia Hickey spoke with investigators today at that news conference. Olivia, what have you?
I thought it was really interesting that the Cajun Navy found him. I didn't know a lot about the Cajun Navy. I know that, you know, it is an organization and they do go out and, you know, search for missing individuals and stuff like that. I remember when they got involved. Hey, Deb. When they got involved with the Sebastian Rogers case. And that was crazy. If I remember correctly, there were people that were threatening them and all kinds of stuff. I can't remember exactly, you know, to what extent Seth Rogers had with that. Okay, let me finish playing this real quick. Learned.
"I'm sorry" were the first words that 12-year-old RJ Davis said to the two men, volunteers out of Texas, who found him in Caddo County earlier this afternoon, both of them being fathers themselves. They said finding him was such an emotional moment.
He was just apologetic. He was terrified. He was super scared, and it was like he thought he was going to be in trouble. And we reassured him that this wasn't his fault and he's safe. And he just gave us a big hug.
I had to wipe his tears.
Yes,
The
grown
volunteers
men
say they
do
found him
cry.
around noon. We aren't sure where exactly, but it was somewhere indoors in Caddo County. OSBI says this was close to where his parents lived. OSBI says they're continuing to look into how he got there, all the way from the Quality Inn in Chickasha, where he was last spotted before he went missing 8 days ago. The volunteers who found him are two men with United Cajun Navy, a nonprofit dedicated to rescue operations and humanitarian help.
ACM.
Officials say this was a community effort between search parties and people sharing information online and on social media. Now, the latest on Davis, OSBI says he is recovering, he is doing okay, and he will be in state custody. Investigators are now working on where to place him next, but they assure he will be safe and comfortable. In the meantime, his parents remain in jail on child abuse complaints.
Now, I really hope that this young boy does go to a really good home. I try not to get too political over here on this channel. And it's,
Investigators today at that news.
hang on. It is just, I just hope that the state does find him a wonderful family to go to and hang out and, you know, be shown some love. He is probably going to, hey, Victoria, he is probably going to, you know, need a lot of professional help. I get so freaking disgusted when it comes down to children and grown people using them and doing horrible things to them. That is just sick, right? Yeah, I hope he does have a better life. You know, like I was talking about with Sebastian, and I don't, you know, there's not a title on my video. We're just talking about whatever we want. So if you guys want me to pull up a case or something, throw it in chat and I'll Google it and we'll talk about it or whatever. I don't have a problem with that. With Sebastian Rogers, and that is a case that I haven't talked about in a long time. What I seen in that case was a father, and this is my opinion, right? Because I'm a commentary channel and I give my opinion. A father who absolutely gained monetarily from his son missing. And the last thing that I ever watched Seth Rogers do was when he went to the police station and he was like, my pockets are empty. My pockets are empty. Find my son. And I thought, how disgusting is that, right? How disgusting is that? Sebastian still hasn't been found. Very sad. He just poof disappeared. Somebody has to know something. I mean, somewhere along the line, somebody knows something. For sure. And it's just really sad. Really sad. Now this is a video of a man abducting a toddler from somewhere in Virginia. Let's watch
Introducing
it.
the Score Bet.
Hang on,
For
there's a
Sunday,
commercial.
Monday, or any day that ends
There's a
in Y.
commercial
We're with you.
as usual. Where's he's abducting a toddler from the mall. Okay, there's the little girl. Where's her mama? Oh my gosh. Look how easy. So the child's mother received a phone call from her husband after realizing their toddler was missing. He came and just picked her up. He came and just picked her up. How terrifying. So mom catches him. He's telling mom that he was going to return her. He was going to return her to the mother. I don't think he was. How creepy is that? Within a matter of seconds. Within a matter of seconds. He left them all in a stolen car that was traced to a hotel he was staying at. And he was arrested. I wonder if he was supposed to be in the United States. Like I said, I don't get too political over here, but if you go back, some of my content is speaking of individuals who are in our country illegally that do not hesitate to harm our children at all. He has faced numerous violent charges in the past, court records show, including assault and battery and a malicious wounding. They got this music going. I should have just muted that to start with, but that's all right. That is nuts. Have you guys ever heard some of the stories about men going into the ladies' bathroom in malls and actually R-ing people? That is sad. Watching him in the mall carrying that child basically looks like that she belonged to him. That she belonged to him. How sad is that? Craziness. I'm not sure what this is. We are just flipping around. I'm just flipping around, you guys. Let's see what this crazy lady did. This is called Predator's Shocking Interest in 2-year-old Caught on Camera. What?
He just asked if any of her friends wear diapers. This is a whole nother ballgame.
He asked if any of her friends wear diapers. That's creepy. Oh, okay. These are Let me say this. These are real predator hunters. Okay? Real predator hunters. I just seen something on a case where a mother was doing bad things to her daughter so her boyfriend could watch. It was sickening. It was freaking sickening.
I'm extremely upset. The way that he's talking to our 12-year-old decoy, Abby, is very alarming. It's very distressing. It's extremely upsetting. Abby says, like, yeah, I have some friends. He's like, how old are they? Abby is 12. She goes, well, one's 11 and one's 8. He's very interested in that. One has a little sister who's 2. He's very interested in that. He's asking about diapers. I have not personally seen this type of ACM before. It's unreal.
Because he keeps asking for friend photos, I think we could conceivably send a photo of a fake 2-year-old. We get an artificial intelligence created person, so it's not a real person, but it looks real enough. And then Matt could edit it to make it look like an actual 2-year-old. And then we can send it. I know that sounds terrible.
But it's not a real person.
It's not a real person, and it keeps him on the hook.
Yeah.
Wow. I
have been tasked
that.
with creating a realistic looking 2-year-old. So that means that it is a fake person that does not really exist, often created with different components of photos that were loaded into the program to create a fake person.
So
this particular tactic is definitely a first for Sosa. Never did I think I'd be retouching an AI photo of a baby.
I don't know how law enforcement sets some of those individuals set for 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 24/7. They are looking at these horrible people do horrible things to kids. Okay, so I just Googled woman who sexually abused young daughter for boyfriend's pleasure. Look at all of this. It's never ending. Now this one, she was charged with sexual abusing the ex-boyfriend of her own daughter. I think that's the one I was talking about. In 2018, the little girl was becoming 9 years old. Her mother's boyfriend had been abusing her sexually. July 2020, mom jailed after bribing 5-year-old to be sexual plaything. Who the fuck does that? This is a from Science Direct. Let's check that out. Only because I'm nosy. Oh, are you gonna let me do this? Oh, please. Okay, we'll do it. We will do it, people. Mother-daughter sexual abuse, an exploratory study of the experiences of survivors of MDSA. Wow. What? It says there is a paucity of research regarding MDSA, which is mother-daughter sexual abuse, which is highly stigmatized and misunderstood form of child sexual abuse. How can it be misunderstood? And of course, survivors feel guilt and shame, right? I am, Chelsea. I am up late. Something's going on with YouTube and the live I did this morning. It's not even through processing and it's not showing any views or anything like that. So I was going into YouTube and making sure all my settings were okay. So I figured I'd just pop on and see if the same thing happens with this live. Of course, they feel guilt and shame. I think most survivors do feel guilt and shame. Long-term impact trauma. Wow. I wouldn't know how any mother could ever do that. I remember I used to work with a girl that her mother did that to her. Her mother did that stuff to her. It was sad. For sure. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to tell us anything we don't already know. That is freaking disgusting. So, survivors describe feeling shame, disgust, confusion as the actually abusive behaviors by the offending mother included non-consensual touching, vaginal penetration, body shaming, exposure to pornography at a young age, and grooming daughters for abuse by men. Ooh, I showed a movie. It was like a documentary. What was it called? Dang it, what was it called? The guy had been married to the girls' mothers, and he was doing stuff to them. Then he married a lady that had daughters, and he was doing Surviving Melvin. That is a freaking whacked out show. I showed that on my channel one time. Crazy. You know, one thing that we've talked about over here is, and you know, I've covered a lot of cases where women, they meet guys on the internet and they work. Then these guys go live with them and shack up with them. They let the female work, and you know, they're putting forth this pretense that I'm taking care of your kids while you go to work, and they are severely abusing some of these kids, doing horrible things to these kids. A lot of times, mom allows it only because, you know, she could feel like she doesn't want to be lonely, right? So they just let anybody come in there. And it's sad. It is really sad. Now, tomorrow, hopefully it'll all be figured out by tomorrow, all the bullshit. But I have a live that I did a long time ago. And it is when a creator that I know, they had somehow contacted her daughter and wanted her daughter, I think her daughter was only like 15 at the time. They wanted her daughter to hook up with Hunter so they could see what Hunter would say to this girl. Now, let me say this, and I've said this before. I don't know, I've never had anybody tell me they didn't understand what I was saying. I have never sat and had a conversation with my granddaughters about Summer Wells going missing. And it's not because it's, my granddaughter, she just turned 13. She is such a sweet little girl. She's an emotional little girl. To me, I felt like I would be placing something really heavy on her heart. Something really heavy on her heart. And I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. It's kind of one thing if you say, yes, a child went missing, they don't know where they're at. But especially in Summer's case, when you have a young child that is following a case like that, look at the things Dawn Wells was saying. Look at the things that were being said. Look at the things that were being done. And there was just no way I was going to put something like that on my granddaughter's heart at all. To each their own. To each their own, I am not here to tell anybody how to speak to their grandkids or anything like that. I'm not here for that. So, but yeah, it's just really sad. Really, really sad. It's heartbreaking to me too that, with Michael Vaughn, they just need to give Michael to Brandy. That Stacy Wandra and his wife and all them freaking weirdos, give that baby back to his mother. Hi, Isabel Porter. Sorry, I didn't look at my chat. My grandson know of her because they see the content. They aren't interested in the subject. They see the content? Are they older, Jean? Isabel. I love that name, Isabel. I really do. That is a cool name, Isabel. I don't know who you're talking about, but we're not going to do that, Isabel. So, if you just came over here to call somebody a name. Oh, you're talking about Stacy. I got you, girl. I will show that. Because I agree with you, Isabel. I agree with you, girl. For sure. He's a disgusting human being. That guy is freaking disgusting. Disgusting. And his wife is pretty disgusting too. And their two little sidekicks are freaking disgusting too. Right? Oh, your watch list shows up? There ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, like I said, to each their own. I know a lot of people that, have followed Summer's case, that they let their kids know every little detail about, what's going on with it and stuff. And like I said, to each their own. I am nobody's mama on YouTube. People are probably like, yeah, we're glad. Could you imagine having me as a mother? Right? No way, Isabel. Oh, darling. Oh, Isabel. I don't know if I've got any advice for you, sweetie. I am sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. That sucks. That sucks, Isabel. Do you want me to kick his ass? You want me to kick his butt? No, I don't know, Isabel. I don't. I mean, I can give you advice, but then if you take my advice and it doesn't work or you get in trouble, then you're going to be like, RC told me to do it, right? How long have you been together, Isabel? That's what I would need to know. How long have you and your husband been married? Now, we always hear once a cheater, always a cheater, right? 24 years with 4 kids. Are your kids older? You don't have to answer anything I ask you, you know. Are your kids older, though? Hey, the mouse. Right? I don't know, Isabel. I don't know what kind of advice I could give for something like that. 3 to 19? Wow. One thing I will give you advice on, make sure you know all the financial information, and if you file for divorce, you make sure that you tell your lawyer that you want a forensic accountant, and they will make sure that financially he has to show you all the finances for sure. Because a lot of times what happens is you get divorced, you don't really think if they have any assets that you might not know about. I would definitely be making him pay child support, and I think that you can also get alimony too, right? Shouldn't you be able to get alimony? But I do understand that that doesn't make you feel any better about what he did. For sure. Because it takes a very, very big person to be able to actually continue being married and having a relationship with someone that you know, especially after 24 years, you know, has been with somebody else. Are you ever going to be able to truly trust, right? Are you going to be able to trust them? There's some relationships people's, you know, stepped out and had affairs or cheated, and their spouse forgives them, and you know, it makes the relationship so much better. So it kind of just depends on, I guess, what type of relationship that you all have had for 24 years, right? Oh, it's all right, Isabel. You come over here anytime you want and hang out. We're thinking of you. I'm praying for you. Right? That's the thing, Gene. You can't, I mean, don't bite your nose off to spite your face. Because the thing about it is, a lot of these guys will make you out to look like you're the crazy one, right? So you absolutely have to be careful about how you handle yourself and stuff. One thing I do recommend, though, is not speaking ill of the cheater to the children. I just feel that way. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I feel that way, that, you know, it's not the children's fault. It's not the children's fault. And I think that sometimes in relationships like that, you know, the children take on some of that guilt of, you know, mom or dad or whoever going out and doing something cray-cray. But it just depends. I mean, sounds like you guys have been together for a lot of years, and, you know, but always remember to watch your own back. Watch your own back. You never know secret finances or anything like that. And, you know, sometimes those men will tell you they ain't got no money, and they'll be sitting on quite a bit of money, right? So, but definitely make him take care of the children. Don't let him get by with that. If you can get alimony after 24 years, girl, you get it. Also, if you own your home, that's one thing I would ask for, is the family home. You have the children, and that is their home. And I always found it fucking disgusting when a man would take away a home that his children live in, only because they're, you know, him and mom's divorcing or whatever. There's some real fucking scallywags out here. I'm telling you. I mean, for sure. But you, unfortunately, you do have to be careful and don't do something that he can use against you, for sure. But if he was the one that cheated, I would think that, you know, a lot of people, they get divorced and, you know, it's like non-contested. They just, you know, they put down in the divorce that, you know, irreconcilable differences. But you can also, I don't know how it is in the UK, but there is a thing called, what is it? Hang on a second. Okay, so what is it where something affection? What is it called when a woman sues another woman? What is it? Anybody know what it's called? What's it called when a woman sues another woman for having an affair with their husband? With their husband. I know somebody knows it. Alienation of affection. Alienation of affection. There, Tropicana's got it. Heck yeah. But it depends on where you live. Yeah, it's definitely not like emotional distress. Emotional distress is different than alienation of affection. Wow. So, but yeah, they say that emotional distress, usually you can't sue over that. So, yes. Can you actually sue the person your spouse is having an affair with? Oh my goodness, we just talk about all kinds of stuff over here. For sure. I feel horrible for you. I do, sweetie. Hang on a minute. Was banned is what I call my ex. That's funny, Sam. That is funny. Yeah, it's very sad. It's sad, darling. Hate to hear that. Hate to hear it. Did you just start coming on YouTube, Isabel? Join July 9th, 2025. That is okay. That is a-okay. It is a slippery slope for sure. Yeah, it's the kids. That's what's heartbreaking is the kids. For sure. For sure, for sure. I had Lippy, you're so funny. Lippy left me a comment and said she liked when I say the F word. Thanks, Lippy. I love Lippy. I do. Do you guys remember that case I talked about? Let me pull it up real quick, if I can find it. Hold on. It was, I was talking about Easton Vance, who was arrested in the case of a child named Elliot Whitaker. And the mother had left him with, let me see if I can pull it up. Mom married this young guy and left him with this guy. And I think it was in Kingsport. Absolutely. Elliot was a year old. A year old. You know what gets me is when these predators do things to these babies and they may not even get arrested for a year. It's sad. That is his, it took him like a year. Like a freaking year. Look at this freak. Look at this fucking freak. This guy is a freak. Kingsport. That was in Kingsport, Tennessee. It resulted in 7 charges, including the unaliving of little Elliot. They said Elliot was 14 months old. 3 counts of first-degree red rum. Case was bound over to the grand jury in October. Now, he's still in jail. They also got him for aggravated child abuse, neglect, aggravated RAPE of a child, aggravated criminal trespass, because allegedly he wasn't supposed to be anywhere around that house. Now, one thing I wanted to find out was, because this guy's young. This guy is 20 years old. 20 years old. I wanted to know the age difference between him and Elliot's mother. Let's see if I can Google it. What is the age difference? Between because I can't remember the age difference between Elliot Whitaker's mother and I guess it's her boyfriend. Maybe I'll just try to word it different. 20-year-old. Let's see if I can find it this way. Okay, wait. This says there's no evidence. I thought they were married. Data, you're fine, dude. Huh. I thought for sure. I did a live on it. I put out a lot of information on it. So, sick individual you see in the picture is Easton Vance. He is responsible for the brutally horrific torture of a 15-month-old named Elliot Whitaker. They're not posting Elliot's face next to this guy. I used to bitch about that all the time because I would pull up a picture of a monster and they would have the baby's picture right next to it. That always bothered me when they would do that. Well, he shouldn't he shouldn't be released. He should still be in jail. It's so sad that he did those horrible fucking things. There is a petition, you guys. I'm glad I pulled this up. There's a petition to deny him bond. I do not believe he did receive any bond at all. So, but there is a petition for that. Here, I'll sign it. I will sign it. And no, I don't hide who I am. I don't need to. I don't. That's kind of, I just never have. I don't have anything to hide. I'm an open book. Anybody wants to ask me anything, all they have to do is freaking ask. For sure. Okay, what else I gotta do? No, I'm not giving you money. That's crazy. I'll share it. We'll copy the link. I'll throw it in chat. That's not right. See, that's what's messed up about these freaking things. All right. I put the link in there. That's about as far as I'm going to go with it. You shouldn't need money. You shouldn't need money when you're asking people to sign a petition so someone does not get bond that unalived a child. Who hides their elves? What? I have not a clue, Chelsea, what elf you're talking about. An elf on a shelf? An elf on a shelf? That's what it said. Who hides their elves, RC? I missed it. I'm confused, Chelsea. I am confused. Okay. So, let's do an IQ test. I hate to do this because I'm pretty stupid, right? Who hides their self? I don't know. I don't know, Chelsea. I'm lost. Okay, I am a female. I like to solve complex problems. I agree. I'm not going to strongly agree. I prefer learning through hands-on experience. Strongly agree. 2, 4, 8, 16, 20. What number is missing? 3, 6, 9, 12, 16, 18. Oh no, did I get that wrong? Cat is to kitten as dog is to puppy. Book is to reading as fork is to eating. What do you guys think that is? Book is to reading as fork is to, I'll say eating. I quickly recognize patterns and sequences. I strongly agree. Do you guys, when you guys look at patterns, when you look at different patterns, or you look at a page that has, like they want you to see a certain shape in a page that they have, I'm pretty good about that. I easily visualize 3D objects in my mind. Do you guys visualize 3D objects in your mind? If you ask Jody Sue Brown, she sees shapes. What is it Jody said? She sees shapes in what was it she said? What was it she said, you guys? I know somebody knows. In sound. She can see shapes in sound. I think that's what she said. Yeah, I can visualize 3D. Oh my God. What the heck am I looking at here? What? Okay, that's easy. Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. Let's try this one. 1, 2. That would be this one. That would be, this one. You are doing faster than 92% of all test participants. Am I going too fast? I don't like these at all. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. I don't even know what this one would be. Shapes and sounds. Thank you. Something like that, right? I mean, if I screamed right now, what kind of a shape do you think that you would see in your mind? I've never thought about it before, ever. For real. I was watching, I went into Lady K's earlier and said, hey, she was talking about the dude who stole all the freaking bones. I had, Flies had sent me an email about that, and I, for some reason, just totally freaking, oh, I have an email from Truth to Lies. I don't get that very often. I'm going to say this right now. Stein Eric, do not email me anymore. Do not email me anymore. I really don't have anything. I'm a one and done type of person. And I was always very nice to you. And you and your little scallywag friends come into my chat and was disrespectful. You want to put it out there that, you know, Summer Wells is your go-to talk about thing, and I'm completely good with that. But why, when I was talking about that case, would you come into my chat with your friends only to disrespect me and my people and try to change the narrative to be all about you and your friends? That was messed up. And to be honest, sir, I really didn't expect that from you. So you don't need to email me anymore. Bottom line. Bottom line. And that's being nice about it. Okay, this is interesting. Truth to Lies is a, do you guys remember Steve Johnson? He was over with, he was on Chris McDonough's panel many times. He's a, he looks at like suspect interviews and, you know, can kind of really say what kind of reads between the lines, right? He was fascinating. I would suggest, I believe he's got a YouTube channel. I think he does have a YouTube channel. But I was interested in taking a couple classes from him. And I couldn't afford it. It was expensive. It was expensive. So yes, he absolutely does have a YouTube channel. I would recommend you guys go check it out. Very interesting. We're gonna let's listen. Let's listen. This is about a letter that Dawn Wells wrote to Summer. But what we have to remember is, allegedly, well, Dawn didn't write the letters. So it'd kind of be interesting to see what Steve says about a letter that Dawn Wells didn't write. Right? Why not?
Podcast. Let's talk about the Summer Wells case. As most of you know, Dawn Wells is currently in custody for unrelated charges. And we recently had the first anniversary of the disappearance of his daughter, Summer, 5-year-old Summer. She was 5 years old when she disappeared. And Dawn issued a letter that he said is addressed to Summer, a letter to Summer and a prayer. And this whole case is an interesting case. It's still ongoing. Summer still has not been found. Investigators are working tirelessly, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the Sheriff's Office. And it's a case that really needs to be.
What's interesting with him is when he was like on Chris McDonough's, I really listened to what he was saying. I kind of took it as a class lesson, and certain words mean certain things in interviews and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see what he says. He left me a comment, Chelsea. He left me a comment. And I never had nothing against the guy. I really never did. I mean, if it was really him, I don't know if it was really him. But, he was adamant that he thought he saw what he saw. I wasn't there. I can't say the dude's seen what he's seen or not. Because I absolutely wasn't there. So
at the top of the letter, he wrote, "A letter and prayer for Summer. Since you've been gone, I've been completely devastated. I looked everywhere for you, my beautiful girl, !
One thing I want to say is, hold on. What am I hearing out there? Hang on, you guys. I'm going to check on my cat real quick. Are you all where you should be? Hey, you knock it off, mister. I knew I heard you in here. Leave her alone. You better lay down. Out here causing trouble. Out here causing trouble. I knew I heard him. But Chango got a hold of me. I don't know why he got a hold of me after all this time. But what do you say about it? What the heck do you say about it?
I thought YouTube would be the most powerful tool to help find you, and perhaps it still could be, but at a price we may not be able to afford. Our family may not survive! I'm sorry, my beautiful girl, but I completely lost my mind! With so many thoughts of people harming you, and I know you want to come home, and there's nothing I can do. I'm powerless! So I ask God, please look over my precious daughter. We love her so much. We wish God you will return her to us as well as the boys. I would be so happy to be a family again. And then he exclamation that. Next line, please bow for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespass. And then he wrote an S over the D in trespass. But the first thing he wrote was trespass. As we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Thanks. And he signs it, Don Wells. Okay, so from that, we want to answer those questions. What is the priority of the letter? Who's he writing to? What is his linguistic disposition towards Summer? Why include the Lord's Prayer? And what are the traits revealed? So I'm going to break this down.
You heard it as a confession, Gene?
I broke it down a little line by line. Well, most lines. And if you're looking at this on the video, you probably notice that there are a lot of words that are misspelled, and there are a lot of capital letters where they don't belong. In the middle of words, at the beginning of words that don't need to be capitalized. So there's a lot of erratic behavior in the handwriting. Okay, so I'll just tell you now that relates to erratic thoughts in the author.
Erratic thoughts, right? But if Don didn't write it, did the person who wrote it have erratic thoughts or erotic thoughts? I'm just saying, I shouldn't have said that, okay? I shouldn't have said that. That wasn't very nice of me.
Author's mind, all right? So that's one thing. So he wrote, since you've been gone, I've been completely devastated. So who's the focus of this?
Who is the focus?
Well, the focus is Don and his well-being.
That's right.
His emotions, what he's been experiencing. Focus is not at all what Summer has been experiencing. He's focused on his own welfare, not Summer.
That's right.
So, I find that a little disturbing. I know that the letter is just beginning, and so I'd love to see if this continues or if it gets better. I hope it gets better.
And this is, I guess that the author of the letter maybe didn't have the forethought of that there are professionals in law enforcement that do that for a living. They look at things like this and can deduce a lot about a person by reading that. Now, I think it's interesting, and I may do this, go back and look at the letter and write down all the capital letters that are in this letter. I can show it to you guys because I'm not monetizing this anyway, so.
As I analyze it line by line, but it doesn't look like it's going to. And from what we
Why would you write a letter to your daughter and tell her that you lost your job, I can't work now, they've done this to me, they've done that to me?
read, it doesn't look like it. So, and also it wasn't enough to just say that I've been devastated. He had to qualify that. He said, I've been completely devastated. And when people when people qualify, use qualifiers like this, it's typically it shows a need to persuade. It's a need to convince. And it shows that by just saying I'm devastated,
he always did
I've
try
been
to convince
devastated,
people.
it wasn't enough for him. So he had to qualify it. All right. So it's okay to have a qualifier. We all use them, but we want to see if, we take this into context. Why qualify this? And in conjunction with him not being concerned for Summer's well-being, it's his own well-being. It's a convincing statement that he is completely devastated or has been completely devastated. Okay. So,
yeah, because you remember that, right? It wasn't in this letter. It was in one of the other letters. And like I said, I, me. I always found that to be sad. But then, like I said earlier, allegedly, he didn't write those letters. someone admitted to writing those letters for him, right?
I hope you're seeing what's going on here. Then he says, I looked everywhere for you, my beautiful girl. So
did you, Don? Did you look everywhere for her? Right? There's a lot of communication on YouTube with caps in the wrong spot or misspelled purposeful. On YouTube, I know a lot of people thought when Candace wrote the letter to the I think she wrote it to Ansley Daniels or one of them, when Lawson said that they had gotten, that they lawyered up, that the way that she wrote that letter was basically for Dawn. So Dawn could see the letter and, you know, she's like, I ain't lawyered up.
Oh, the focus is still on him, what he did. He doesn't go into any detail. He just says he looked everywhere. So that also implies that since he has looked everywhere, there's nowhere else to look. It's been done. And in a way, he is trying to absolve himself of the responsibility to look anywhere further. He's already looked everywhere. And so this is an absolving statement right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys understand that, right? But then again, we can look at it and say, where were they supposed to be looking, right? Where the heck were they looking?
Implication is that there's nowhere else to look. And if he's looked everywhere, then the authorities, they have nowhere to look either, because it's already been covered by him. Then he says,
and see, I never understood that either, because we know that the searchers, they all gave their time. They wanted to find Summer. They wanted to find her in Beach Creek. They wanted to find her so bad. Dawn, immediately, she's not here. I felt bad for the searchers. They were limping and everything else. You know, it was freaking weird.
I thought YouTube, and he says, and it's a U/tube, would be the most powerful tool to help find you. And perhaps it still could be, but at a price we may not be able to afford. Our family may not survive. Okay, so this sentence is not, it's obviously not intended for Summer. This is a sentence that is intended for the public. This is a message for the public. And in a subtle way, he's blaming YouTube, okay? And he's saying his family might not survive if he uses what he deems as the most powerful tool to find Summer. And I want you to know, as he says this, with his subtle blaming, that he has excluded Summer from his family, saying, I thought that YouTube might be the most powerful tool to help find you, but our family might not survive. And so it's our, he's separated her. She's over there, and then we have our family. And
see, and that always got me. Why would you write a child a letter and basically, I mean, to me, it's like he's placing that blame on her. He's placing that the responsibility of the family falling apart and him losing his job and all of that stuff. He's putting that on a little missing girl. I'll have to go over all his letters. I thought I did that at one time. I don't remember.
so in his mind, there's a separation there between Summer and what's left of his family. And that's disturbing. So, like I mentioned, it's a form of victim blaming. Utilizing YouTube to find Summer is at fault if his family does not survive. There's subtle victim blaming that he would have to utilize YouTube to find her. And so it's making himself out as the victim, not Summer. It's not Summer that's the victim. It's him and our family that might not survive. They're the victims.
Exactly.
Also, he's not willing to do everything to find her. So it's a subtle way to tell the public that, hey, I can't really use this what I've deemed as the most powerful tool to find my daughter, because my family might not survive. And so he gave a reason why. And so he's saying, I'm not going to look at it. Plus, I've already looked everywhere. There's nowhere else to look. And so what he's subtly implying here is that there's nothing else to do. I've already looked. And so in his mind, Summer's not coming home. Yeah,
And in his mind, he'll see her in the resurrection.
it's pretty sad. He says, I'm sorry, my beautiful girl, that I completely lost my mind. Think about that. He says, I'm sorry. That is significant. I want to know what prompted him, what is going on in his mind that makes him say, I'm sorry. That's typically something that comes from someone that has some type of guilty knowledge. Or I would like him to say something that, right after that.
I'm sorry, my beautiful girl, that I completely lost my mind. Wow.
I'm sorry. That is very sincere. What he says is, I'm sorry, my beautiful girl, that I completely lost my mind. He doesn't say what he did to lose his mind or what happened. So it's a little ambiguous right here. But this is
crazy, right?
This is an indication that he is feeling stress from guilt. Stress that, notice that he didn't say, I'm sorry for not finding you. He's not saying that. I'm sorry for completely losing my mind. It's a psychological pressure relief statement is what it is. He's able to say, I'm sorry, without actually saying, I'm sorry for whatever I did to you, whatever I caused to happen to you. He's not saying that, and he's been being ambiguous about it. And so what does it mean I lost my mind, to lose my mind? I note that he also qualified this as well. This is another qualifier that was employed here. I completely lost my mind. So we have the use of the qualifier. He needs to call in reinforcement psychologically, linguistically, to back up what he's saying. It's more of a convincing type statement. Now I know that. So I'm wondering, what does the sorry relate to? What does the completely lost his mind relate to?
Yeah, what's it
does it relate to what he
to?
did at the time Summer disappeared? Is it a decision perhaps that he made that now he regrets? Something like that. He's not really saying, but.
Because don't forget, he was like, I would say something to her and I would have to say, I'm sorry, Summer. I'm sorry, Summer. And she would be like, it's okay, Daddy, right? That's fucking weird.
But it seems like that he's referring back to something. I completely lost my mind. It's something in the past. Okay. Then he says, with so many thoughts of people harming you, and I know you want to come home, and there's nothing I can do, I'm powerless. I'm powerless. With so many thoughts of people harming you. So he's a lot of thoughts of people harming you. And he doesn't separate this. He just keeps going with it. And I know you want to come home. I know you want to come home. So this comes on the heels of him saying that he's sorry for completely losing his mind. And he introduces the thought, so many thoughts of people harming Summer. And he says, I know you want to come home. So the question is, does he know where she is or where she went? If he knows that she wants to come home, that would be implied. Why do they need to state that? What's going on in his mind that pushes that out to the pen? And it takes more effort to write than it.
That's the thing. I think I'll probably try to go over this stuff again because it's late, but he knows she wants to come home. Sorry, he lost his mind. The thoughts of people harming her. All of this, and it's weird because I haven't watched this forever, but man, it just brings back a whole flood of definitely things that I was thinking.
Does to simply state it. That took more effort and time to think about it. So I'm wondering, does this relate to a decision that he made when he completely lost his mind? And now he's saying he's sorry. Remember, he stated previously that he is aware of people that traffic kids.
Yep.
I'm not saying that's what happened. We don't know what happened.
This is interesting too, and I'll get back into this when I do part 2 about talking about Tim Mullins, because, Tim and Dawn very quickly came out about the trafficking and different things like that. So tells me he was harsh with these words, not in typical parenting way. I don't know. I feel he has told us the most, just reading between the, yeah. Well, that's the thing with Dawn. You do read between the lines. You definitely do.
To summer, but this really raises some questions.
A lot of
That
questions.
really need to be addressed on what it is that he is sorry for that made him lose his mind. He's sorry he completely lost his mind. Okay. He says, so
Yeah.
I ask God, please look over my precious daughter. We love her so much. I know that he slipped from the I ask God, please look over took ownership of her precious daughter. And he says, we love her so much. So he included other people. We wish God, you will return her to us as well as the boys. Okay. I would be so happy to be a family again.
Do you guys believe that? Do you really believe that, that I don't know. I find it hard to believe that he loved his children so much. He wanted the boys back. He wanted to be a happy family. And if you look at the situation, what did he actually do that would have made it one step closer to him getting the boys back? If they did not do anything to those boys, if they were not neglectful, if you know, or whatever else they were being investigated for, I'll just say that, why would he have signed those boys over to the state? He should have been fighting for them the whole time. And what we seen was him saying, like, I don't know how they want me to do all these classes, and they want me to do this, and they want me to do that to get the boys back, and you know, I ain't got time, I'm working, and or whatever. And I can guarantee you right now, I do believe that Tucker from Tucker Drywall would have worked with Dawn however he could to go take the classes, to get online, to do what needed to be done, to, you know, whatever, for Dawn to get those boys back. His own words were, they said they would keep taking me back to court. They would make me pay court cost. He also didn't want the boys to be in a position where they had to get up and testify against him and Candace. Very nice of him, right? What would they have said? What would they have said? He would have been still made to pay child support. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what, you know. He didn't have anybody that he had to take care of after the boys were gone. It was just him and Candace. They were going everywhere. But Don seemed to be the type of person, he always went everywhere anyway, right? He didn't hesitate to take off and leave for days at a time. For days at a time. I wonder if he got a discount. I wonder if the hookers gave him a discount when he shacked up with them for 3 or 4 days at a time. I don't know. I shouldn't have said that. Okay, I shouldn't have. But do they give a discount? A daily discount? I don't know. I don't. I shouldn't have said that.
It's not we anymore that would be happy to be a family, but he would. And it makes me wonder if there's discord between he and Candace. I'd love to be a fly on the wall and know what those conversations have been like. If she,
Oh, Steve, you would not want to be a fly on the wall to hear those conversations, sir. Could you imagine? I mean, we've heard Don and Candace's conversations before. Could you imagine the conversations they had that we didn't hear? I'm just saying.
visited him, wrote him, what's that been like? Because he wants to be a family, and it's not a we anymore. All right, so it's significant. Those pronouns are significant. They're powerful.
They are.
Now, I know that in that, what I just read, he evoked deity. He evoked God. So I asked God, please look over my precious daughter. We wish, God, you will return her to us. So who does that? Most of us pray. I pray daily, that I don't feel the need to portray myself as a man of God or this good guy. This is what he's doing here. It's the purpose of in publicly putting that out there. He
did too. He continuously, hey, Deb, I hope you're okay, girl. He continuously wanted people to know that he was a godly man. Okay? He loved God. Even we heard Tim Mullins say, Don's a godly man. He loves God. Don loves God, right? Trafficking was taking place. He was up front and center. Girl, let me tell you something. I've talked before. I thought it was so creepy that right after Summer went missing, he comes across a little girl about the same age as Summer, and she's playing out by the road, and we all know that crap happened, right? I heard Jody say something about Don taking the kid. I don't know if he took the oldest. I don't know. I heard Jody make a comment, right, about something about Don going on his little trips and having a child with him. That's what Jody said.
A letter to the public. That's who the letter is addressed. That's the intended audience is the public. Okay, Summer is the tool to get it out there, to get the information out there. He's going to write a letter to Summer, but he knows the public is going to get this letter, so he knows that's who is going to read this. And so I want the public to know I'm a good guy. I'm a man of God. In fact, almost a holy man. All right. Now, from past conversations that I've listened to of Don, and some of them I've analyzed, and a lot of you have probably seen those. This is Don's MO. When he is feeling guilt or deception is in his mind, he portrays himself as a holy man, as a church-going man, and he prays. And this is typical of his MO. Okay, so that's what he's doing here, and that's the purpose of reciting the Lord's Prayer. And I find it interesting that he says in this letter, "Please bow for the Lord's Prayer." It's like he's portraying himself as a man that can conduct everybody to please bow for the Lord's Prayer.
Yes, thank you, Steve. It's like, please bow for the Lord's Prayer. That's weird. I don't mind the Lord's Prayer, but to write on a piece of paper, please bow for the Lord's Prayer. Now, I wrote a little short piece called The Appalachian Princess. The Appalachian Princess. And I wrote it really soon after Summer. It might have been for the first vigil. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'm going to give y'all a little treat. I have not read this for very, very long time. And let me see if I can find it here. And I will read it to you guys. I know it's in here. Like I said, I haven't read it it's been a long time since I read it. And I think I wrote it. It was either her first or second vigil. And I initially read it for the first time on Nana's Angels channel. And, but then she had privatized it or something. I don't remember. I think I even sent it. I might have sent it to Molly Golightly. I don't remember. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't, I'll find it another time and try to read it to everybody. I think it's at the very end of my notes. For sure. And then Little Wing wrote a song called The Appalachian Princess. So we had a song, and then we had my writing. I remember that. Because everyone was trying to I might try to do something special for Summer's birthday. It's in about less than what? February. It's in February. But then, I mean, you got to look at the situation. So, I mean, does Don talk the way he does? You know, because he's uneducated, right? I mean, they have to be innocent until proven guilty. Uneducated parents or manipulators. This is just some of my writing. I'm going to read it real quick. Innocent until proven guilty, uneducated parents or manipulators, using their daughter's disappearance to gain sympathy, money, and attention. Speaking of Summer in past tense, from June 15, 2021, the day she got gone until now. The first public appearance, the first public interview showed no emotion from her parents, and her mother seemed to be under the influence of something. Do they know something more than what we are being told? The web of lies that all have weaved, hoping to be believed, as if telling the truth would be to tell on themselves. Everyone being guilty of something, bringing to light their world of criminality. Did they know going into social media world? Did they know going into the social media world of Facebook and YouTube that their real world, their lifestyle, would be brought into question? The daughter they lost becoming a hero for her brothers, who were taken by Child Protective Services on July 30th, 2021. The juvenile court placing a gag order for their safety and to keep anyone from talking about the case, especially to keep the parents from talking about Summer to them. Don Wells and Candace Bly Wells seemed to showing more concern for themselves. It seemed they wanted to address the rumors, comments, and statements of others. Bringing up the timeline of that day's events would bring out a slew of verbiage from them, always saying that they told the truth from the beginning, making themselves out to be good, God-fearing, loving parents backfired. From the beginning, they created a narrative as to what happened to Summer Moon Utah Wells that day. The script was written, the same story given over and over like they practiced, adding a little more to the story each time. Don taking the lead in interviews, though telling anyone who would listen that he was at work that day, and he was adamant that he believed his wife. Candace herself not wanting to do interviews, stating that they felt like that they felt like interrogations, and when she did come forth, it was usually while intoxicated. Dawn went to jail, and suddenly she found her voice, starting up her own YouTube channel, stating she wasn't following the script any longer. That is just a little tidbit of my writing there, folks. Little whippersnappers there. That is the way I seen it and the way I believe it. For sure. I've got the timeline. I've got the script. I have got it all right here. But that is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Appalachian Princess. And I know it's here. When I do it, when I finally get it out, I want to do it justice. I do. Oh, I found it. All right, I'm going to read the Appalachian Princess, and then I'm going to get my ass off here because it's 10:30, and I'll turn into a pumpkin. Hold on, I got to keep drinking water, though, because I took out Mucinex. They are. I think what's going to happen is when everything finally comes out, I do believe that there is going to be different people doing. I think that this is what I hope anyway, that not only do we find Summer, but there is a ring of pedos that get busted. There's a ring of manufacturers of substances. I really hope that after all this time, that it's not in vain. All right, whippersnappers, here you go. Like I said, I haven't read this for a long time. But I'm going to do it for you now, and then I'm going to get my butt off here. It's called The Appalachian Princess. I wrote it June 13th, 2022. So it was for the first vigil. To tell the story of Summer Moon Utah Wells, we must rely on others. Only 5 years old at the time she went missing. Now she's going to be 10, right? Her life before this was dictated by those around her. Her mom and dad, grandmother, and 3 older brothers were the most relevant ones who could tell us about this little girl. And of course, we know not what the boys have said, but the 3 main adults in her life really couldn't tell us much. And what they did tell us of Summer sounded more like a script that they were rehearsing for a big budget movie. Jose Roman and Miss Robin from church gave us more of an idea as to Summer's persona, and for that we are grateful. I feel grateful to be given this chance to try to make Summer's life mean something more than what we've been shown and told so far, to take out the bad and bring out the good. At 3 feet tall, she could be called scrawny. Half pint is what Jose called her, and was a term of endearment because she was just a tiny thing. Her long legs can run faster than any of her brothers, and when chasing them on their dirt bikes, she can definitely keep up, as if to say, I will always be faster. She loves her brothers, and even though most times they were her keeper, they would never maliciously harm her, put her in harm's way, or let others harm her. She can definitely put them in line. She loves beautiful things in life, Her compassion to people and to her animals, and of course, Yucky, can be seen in pictures. Videos show her love for Robin, her Sabbath school teacher from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, where she would run as fast as she could through the church, which she most often did, just for her a big hug. And of course, to be held. The way she would gently stroke Miss Robin's cheek to get her attention was so special and a beautiful show of affection. Looking into these beautiful eyes so deep blue, they seem to look through you, as if knowing what you are thinking. She loves to sing, and that showed at church when Robin and the ladies would sing hymns, and with Robin holding her, she would move her little mouth just to try to keep up. Dancing was something I can see Summer doing to her favorite song, Godzilla, which of course I'm sure she played over and over, and each time she played it, she belted it out, word for word, as anyone with kids or grandkids know. Heck, even some adults do it. As far as My House by New Breed, I will say is a good song. The words not really fitting for a child, but I can almost bet that when her mom played it on the TV, that Summer heard the music and the beat, not really listening to the words. Summer loved Frozen. Elsa was her favorite, and I'm sure that like most little girls, she knew the song, Let It Go, Let It Go. I can almost see her throwing her arms up in the air, spinning around, a sight any of us would give to see now. She wants to be a princess, and it doesn't matter why her head was shaved. It will grow back, and I just know it will be long, blonde, and beautiful. And as she twirls, it will flow with her. Of course, she was a tomboy also and loved to fish, swim, and play in the mud. Who didn't love to run around and play in the mud and run around in the rain when they were younger? I know people are going to say, why am I trying to normalize Summer's life when it was said her life was anything but normal? And I will tell you why. Summer didn't recognize what is said to be her abuse. She didn't know what they call her mistreatment. She was just a little mountain girl who loved to run around barefoot and be free in an area that could have been her hell. I could go on and on, but I just want you all to do me a favor, please. Close your eyes. Picture Summer swing. Picture the tree, the rope, and the base itself. Now, picture Summer sitting on that swing. Let's put her in the most beautiful dress you can imagine. Imagine her hair long and flowing. I want you to give her a push. You know she likes to go high. So you can hear her telling you, higher, higher. And as you push Summer in that swing with her giggling and laughing, and as she is going up, I want you to look and the landscape, the beautiful mountain she called home. And maybe, just maybe, we can imagine that's one of the reasons she loved to swing. Wouldn't you? That is it. I'm getting my ass off here. Hopefully they'll have my YouTube stuff fixed tomorrow. I hope so, or I am going to be livid. So thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. I appreciate you guys, and go have fun, do whatever. And thank you, Carrie. And yeah, a little treat for you guys, a little after dark treat for you. So I'm getting off here. Have a good night. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you later. Peace out, guys. Peace out. Thanks for hanging.